Hi everybody, how are you all doing? I hope we're having a good weekend so far. So today is Sunday the 9th of February 2014 and we're back with a new Arrow character spotlight video, and here we are going to talk about none other than Oliver Queen's mum herself, Moira Queen, played by Susanna Thompson, and she's pretty much been on the show since day one. She has, well, she's definitely an interesting character. Not much is known about her in the comics, because as far as we can tell in the comics she actually died along with Robert when Oliver was young, and you know, in some versions it was whilst they were on a safari trip. Other versions, you know, it was whilst they were on a boating trip as well, and but that's the same sort of storyline that they used for the Arrow TV show. Obviously Oliver and Robert and Sarah were all on the Queen's Gambit, and when that went down, it, you know, everybody thought that they died. We then find out later in season 1 that Moira Queen had a hand in the Queen's Gambit's demise, along with Oliver, Robert, and unbeknownst to her, Sarah as well, at the time anyway. She was used by Malcolm Merlyn to be coerced into allowing or sabotaging the boat to be destroyed as such. So she, and when Oliver returned, she was very happy, but at the same time very bemused that her son would actually survive such a horrific accident, and wasn't expecting him to return so soon. Well, I say so soon, but even after 5 years, you know, it can cause a bit of a stress on someone. But what else is there to know about Moira? Well, she is she can be manipulative. She does look out for her family. Her family are number one, even though what she does to look after her family, she goes to extreme lengths that you would not even think possible for a mother to do for her children in particular. But we all remember when she eventually confessed about what was happening with the Glades and the undertaking that she was a part of with Malcolm. So when eventually she confessed in front of Oliver, because Diggle posed the arrow, if you remember, I believe it was the third or second to last episode of season 1, when she eventually confessed about what was happening. Oliver eventually forgave her, but then obviously season 2 has arrived, and we've now got a revelation. Obviously when Moira was on trial for what happened to the Glades in the season 1 finale, you know, she managed to get acquitted on her trial. And we found out that it was because there was a huge secret that she had kept, not just from Oliver, well, from both Oliver and Thea, and it actually concerns Thea. So we find out that Malcolm is actually the dad of Thea Queen, because there was a point of where Robert and Moira had taken, you know, a break as such, and they and she went and, you know, had an affair with Malcolm at the time, and thus was Thea born from that little incident. When Oliver eventually found out, by the way, spoiler alert, Oliver eventually found out through Felicity in this week's episode, Heir to the Demon. When Oliver found out, he made sure that he does not want to have anything to do with his mother ever again. But then we also saw that Moira was still as evil as she can get. She can be very evil. As I say, she can be threatening. She hides it very well. You know, she can play the doting mother to her kids. But now that Oliver has found out the truth about Thea, it's a question of how is Moira going to keep up appearances, knowing that her son does not want to have anything to do with her because of this big secret that he has now found out about. And it was all through Felicity as well. All through Felicity was how he found out about this secret. Now, as I say, it's going to be interesting to see where season 2 and beyond takes Moira, because we know that she's going to go up against Sebastian Blood to, you know, run for mayor of Starling City. She's already been threatened by Sebastian, even though he says it's not a threat. But Moira, we've seen what she can do. she can stand up to the big boys, and Sebastian can threaten her all he wants. He just needs to remember she is the CEO of a company, and she knows how to cover her tracks if she needs to. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Now, as I did say in my review for this week's episode, I do think that Slade is going to try and do to Moira what Malcolm did as well, in terms of coercing her into joining him, but more to do with Sebastian than with Oliver. I mean, he will still use Moira in some extent to go up against Oliver, but I think he wants to get rid of Sebastian first, get Moira into the seat as mayor, and then try and crumble Oliver's world down from there. Who knows? We'll see. Especially now that Felicity has told Oliver Moira's big secret. I think Slade has a way. I think Slade can find a way to bring Moira into his circle and use her against Oliver and Felicity and Diggle, pretty much everybody that Oliver's got in his team. Oh dear, it could work out. We'll see. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and look out for next week's Arrow Character Spotlight. No idea who I'm going to talk about yet, but we'll find out next week. Thank you all very much for watching. See you all very soon.